First you get toned, then you get jacked, then you get buff, and then you become a beast. But you do become a beef too.
Beast.
All right, folks, welcome once again to another episode of Die or Pass Level. We're excited to be here. Brandon's mentioned this before. He's talked to us about what goes down at Dork Soul Weekends, but it's happening now. We are live from Dork Souls Weekends. Brandon is here. The Dork Souls brothers are here. I'm saying Dork Souls a whole lot, aren't I? Brandon, how are you doing?
Dude, I am rolling like the Onion Knight in Dark Souls. This is our 11th year of doing Dark Souls Weekend. We have the Frank Bros, Steven. Steven, say hi.
Hello.
Wait, that was so confusing. You said Steven say hi and they both waved.
That happens sometimes. Nick, say hello. And then we have, we know Dave. Dave's been on an episode before, so you guys are familiar with Dave.
Hey, everybody.
That's the Dork Souls crew.
All right, so I got to see the t-shirt, first of all, the Dork Souls Weekend t-shirt, and I can also plop it on the screen, but look at that baby. Are there extras?
Everyone got two. That was a piece that was generously designed by my extremely talented friend, Patabot. She was given the assignment to do the classic Chrono Trigger character art. She refused payment. The only stipulation was I get to pick who's who, and one of them is going to get the big old naturals. I think was a direct quote. Is what she said. She killed it. She absolutely killed the design. It's so fun. Pat, thank you so much. You're the best. Check her shop out at Patabot.
Follow them here. So talk to me about how you guys know each other, how you guys met, and how this weekend got started.
We were talking a little of this recap yesterday, and I think a lot of it came from a large group of friends. We're all hanging out all the time. We go out through our 20s, you're out at bars, but there's always this group that would pull away and be talking video games. And if video games were actually around, then you start playing the video games, and all the other friends that want to have fun keep pulling you. Hey, come on, put that away. We're doing something else. And that scenario happened a lot. We're like, we just gotta not invite all these guys.
We've all been friends for over 20 years at this point, you know, whether it's through college or cousins and friends. Ultimately, needing to be able to focus on what's important was necessary because, like Nick said, you know, everyone gets together and no one wants to do the nerdy shit. Everyone wants to get to the bar. Everyone wants to chat and do whatever it is. But if you're able to steal a couple moments and, you know, talk about what game you're playing, get that little secret high in the corner for a little bit. And, you know, we tried to replicate it and elaborate on it and started on like a Friday night. Over the years, we've slowly pushed it further and further back in the week so we can add more days. And I mean, I think I speak for everyone here. Legitimately, I get depressed when Sunday rolls around, even though it's a full day left, more or less. I think we all start planning when we're going to be able to get back together for this weekend.
Nick, if I'm not mistaken, we've met at Ryan's thing, right?
We did, yeah.
Just to speak on that a little, the moment I found out you were Brandon's friend that played video games in that social setting, I immediately wanted more.
Yeah.
I'm like, let me find that dude. I got to talk more about video games because it's just easier. It's just so much easier for me to flow and have a good conversation and feel like myself when I find someone like me in that kind of setting. And I love Brandon and all his family and friends, but I love the ones that like video games the most.
And you start probing to see what sort of gamer they are. You're like, okay, ooh, you're already a gamer. Boom. Like, okay, let's type of games we aligned on. Friends.
Exactly. I think prior to you walking in, I might have just been sitting, eating noodles or something, waiting for my song to come on, having a good time. But I just love finding my people for sure.
It's such a deep like ribbon of who you've become over the last 30 plus years, right? And you're like, oh man, this is how my brain works. This is how I look at things. This is how I approach problems in life.
When you find those people that kind of took the same journey as you really can connect because you have that shared experience that isn't just a show that was on for a season. It's like, man, this has been following you for 30 years. And you're like,
it's our life,
yeah,
man.
It's like you can go down those wormholes of these niche interests and shared experiences, which I think is a connection with the right people.
Absolutely. I think maybe we should go down that wormhole now. What games would you say are your top three? Give me your top three. Just want to get to know you guys a little bit and what kind of defines you as gamers. And I think I remember Nick saying Ghosts and Goblins or Ghouls and
Yeah.
Ghosts was up there for him.
Ghosts and Goblins, that's a Frank Bros #1, especially a Nick Frank game. Altered Beast is another one. For some reason, I don't know why. I'm always thinking about Altered Beast. They also love their
For sure.
your Final Fantasies, right, guys? You guys are big Final Fantasy players.
Mm-hmm. Throwing Altered Beast out there already waves our Sega Genesis flag a little bit there, which I know is a little slandered on this podcast. So
Sega wanted the beef back in the 90s, and it felt like we had to pick a side.
console wars were real.
I would go to my cousin's house and play Altered Beast like crazy just to prove my solidarity. It was the wolf,
Mhm.
right? Then it was the pterodactyl weird flying thing, right? That was the next level.
It was like, yeah, like a dragon, flying dragon.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Was it bear next?
Yeah, I think it was a bear
And then
and then tiger and then like
See, I never made it to tiger, I'll be
Super
honest.
Bowl. Yeah.
I only got to bear. I'd always get wrecked on the bear stage.
Did you get muscly enough? That's the key of that game. Get super get super muscled up and
First you get toned, then you get jacked, then you get buff, and then you become a beast. But you do become a beef too.
A beefy beast. A lot of people out there who had some body issues when they're weren't able to achieve that kind of beefiness. We grew up in kind of a religious household. There's some like gothic tones to that game, and I remember playing it and being like, oh man, this is definitely a little bit evil.
This is way too sexy.
It's like
borderline on
checking
way
if the
too
doors,
sexy.
checking if the door's all the way closed.
We got a lot of definitely zombies and
A cult.
yeah, occult style bad guys. And I remember definitely feeling like we're treading the line here. And the first time that we had access to the Sega Genesis, one of my dad's friends from work used to come over and he was the one who had the Sega Genesis. So he would bring it over. My dad would put us in the room with the Sega Genesis so they could do whatever they wanted to do. And one of the games was Altered Beast. So it was Nick and I with unfettered access to a video game system, this library of games that we know nothing about. And
initially, I think it was Altered Beast, Buster Douglas, Knockout, and then Sonic. I think were the three.
He had Ghouls and Ghosts. He had Golden Axe.
When we were growing up, we didn't have a system for a long time. Our exposure to video games was always in small, incredibly intense doses. And the intensity was basically due to its scarcity. And we just loved it. We couldn't possibly be happier. I can remember exactly where we could have access to playing or even just watching video games because we didn't have them. Our cousins had an Atari and we'd go play Atari Circus, playing Pitfall and just loving it. You know, we'd go over to their house for an evening and we would sit in that attic playing Atari as much as they would let us. The kids who had it there, you know, our cousins were like, whatever, if you guys like this, but we couldn't get enough of it. And then our grandma had a Nintendo. It wasn't ours, but we'd go to our grandma's house almost every weekend for at least one day and go get our little sweet treats and get our fruit roll-ups, get a soda pop, and we would sit in that little garage rec room for as long as they would let us, 8 hours straight. And we would just sit there and play video games, drinking it up. And then when we leave there, it's like, where's our next hit? And the kid down the street had a Nintendo, and occasionally we got to go inside his house and look at it and maybe play Jaws for a little bit. Like, oh my gosh. It was just always a little bit outside of our own ownership, just an obsession.
As the kid who had those games, I had friends coming over with that same elation. And like, that feeling must be freaking incredible to have. My buddy would come from down the street because I had Jet Set Radio on Dreamcast. Let's play that cartoon game again. Come on, man. I was like, oh, no, come on, man. We played that game already.
I want to play outside. Shut up, man.
I think it helps contextualize this weekend. This is like a distilled, focused stretch of just solid video games. There's nothing between us and the video
We are not playing outside. No playing outside.
Yeah.
That's like the psychology of getting your treats and going to play video games. You guys are recreating that.
Oh yeah. Oh, 100%. I think something else I think is unique to Steven and I playing video games is that because it was such a treat, there was never a fight about whose turn it was because we were so happy to watch video games that it didn't matter who was playing. We were thrilled that we were just in the presence of video games and we would just soak it up. Even as we got older and we did have our own, we were talking about our first run of Demon Souls. before it was known, before it was anything. And Steven and I are playing through it, and we would sit and just play together. And one person's playing, we go taking turns. And people don't play video games in that sort of long, collaborative, one-player style very often. And I think that's like such a foundation of how we cherished it that it's
Yeah,
super easy and natural.
Yeah, I mean, God forbid
Totally.
you start a fight over video games and get that shit turned off.
I was just gonna say that scarcity lends itself to that. Being the father of 2 girls, the Switch 2 just came into our household, and it was very much like, you can go first. It's fine. Like, I'll just wait. Just don't mess this up. Don't
Yeah.
blow this for everybody.
Yeah, we were very, very aware that the setting that we were basking in was fragile. So if there was any fighting or arguing over whose turn it was, which sometimes happened with like some other cousins that would be there. All right, well, you guys got to share, or we're gonna like bring out a timer, or we're gonna turn it off, and it's like, you know,
Don't be that guy.
yeah, we're playing for longevity here, and everyone has to toe the line and be quiet and make it work. Otherwise, an adult's gonna come into our world and mess it up. So I think we were definitely making sure that no one was gonna go tell on the other person for hogging or whatever the case may have been.
Yeah. So I know this is going to be an impossible question to answer, and I doubt there is probably even a correct answer. I'm just curious if there is a year that you guys covet the greatest Dark Souls weekend of all time, and 2, if there was like a run of games that you guys loved best.
I think there's 2 elements that kind of grip some of these weekends. And one is usually pretty deliberate, and the weekend will be, again, focused around a launch of a game that we're all super excited about. So Dark Souls 2 was coming out. We're like, hey, so we're all like opening the game for the first time, seeing the opening credits, like, ooh, what is happening? What's this game like? And it's all very new to everybody. It's like, oh, new game, like a kid on Christmas, and we're all doing it together. And then there's the other side of Dark Souls is there's probably a dozen games that we've all kind of talked about, and we don't know which one is going to have the magic. Towerfall ended up being it the first year. Last year it was Balatro, and the goal wasn't to fly to LA and then play 30 hours of Balatro, but that's what we did, and it was perfect. Every one of these always has like a deliberate game and a magical accident. Like, oh, I guess this year we're doing a ton of Overwatch. LAN Party was magical. Resident Evil VR set where one person's doing VR and the other people are watching in like the darkest of rooms, and we're just like tickled about how creepy this is. Just kind of figuring out what's going to have that magic. It always reveals itself.
I'm guessing gaming has already gone underway. You guys started things off yesterday.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it was a little bit of soft launch. We always have to get our foundation. So got to set up the TVs. We got our PlayStation set up. We've got a 3 large TV setup. We got to go get all of our snacks. We always do a food run to a grocery outlet type place, pick up some of those delicious cheap treats. But yesterday, I think we basically played 3 things primarily.
And Doom Eternal, the new Doom Eternal.
That was one of the things that we were excited
Nice.
to take a look at. We played a little bit of Bloodborne last night. We're seeing if maybe that's the DLC is going to be something that we try to push through because most of us haven't played it. And then the game that's got me hooked right now is the new Elden Ring Night Rain.
Yes.
People don't know much about the game. It's kind of a 3-player co-op.
Right. It lends itself well to this weekend, I think.
Oh yeah.
Got a little collaborative runs. We're all Elden Ring, Dark Souls players, so we all have the groundwork, but the game is a total curveball. It's got my gears spinning.
I'm no prophet, but it feels like that might wind up being the game, guys.
It has all the pieces. And also the runs are 45 minutes, so we can like dive in, do a run, then go get our boozies treats. And
We had the 3 TV setup, 3 PlayStations. We're all sitting next to each other on Brandon's big couch, and we made our first run, and Nick was kind of shepherding us through. He had a couple hours practice out of us. The first run, it was a complete failure. Like the team just melted down. We were dead in minutes. Regrouped, came back, and kind of retooled the strategy, and we probably doubled our run length of the next one.
Yeah.
And then finally on the 3rd run, we're like, okay, we got a plan. The team was like absolutely clicking, and it's that kind of magical moment where everyone sort of knows their play, their role. We're sort of figuring out our
Yeah.
move set, and we made a really deep push. And like that kind of early glimmer of success is like it gets the hooks in, and we're like, okay, we're gonna come back and we're gonna start crushing this thing. So we're chopping at the bit here to get Night Rain fired up here. And
The fun part last night, all three of us have the TV set up, and Nick is just pacing back and forth behind the couch, just looking at everyone's screen. Brandon, you're not doing that. Okay, what's going on with this screen? All right, what's going on with the screen? Okay, hey, follow him.
Night Rain's coming. We're going central to the map. Don't delay. You will be left in the rain.
Coach Nick making sure everything's running on all cylinders. I love that.
I think that, goes back to our experience early on. Like, it's okay to watch. It's still fun to watch. And I think that's a big part of Dork Souls is like, people will be playing something. And I think anyone who's not playing is equally as jazzed to be like watching it unfold and being like, yeah, this is awesome.
Delicious beer in hand.
Yeah.
And you're just watching video games. It's fantastic. It does, and you don't have to stop in an hour. You don't have to stop in 2 hours. You don't have to stop for 12 hours. We can do it as much as we want. No stupid friends saying, let's go play outside. It's just pure,
Pure hedonism.
I think the Dork Souls tagline should be "It's okay to watch."
Do you mind if I watch?
I was gonna say though, I think the gameplay, I'm sure, is incredible, but I would love the post-game debrief, snack and drink conversations about like, okay, we did this right.
Yeah.
What can we do next time?
It sounds a little bit like that, but everyone is like filled with adrenaline. Beers, cigarette. Let's get back. If we just did a little more tanking, and someone just is a little more of their, and just like, how do we do it?
That's how they work too. It's actually very, very fascinating to watch the Frank Bros play because Nick is like the chatty strategist trying to figure out like the moves. Steven's like the silent soldier. He'll just do it. Occasionally Steve will chime in with the strategy or anything, but for the most part, Nick is quarterbacking, and Steven's just like, I'll do whatever you say, sir. Very big brother, little brother dynamics.
And Dave, what's your role in all of this?
kind of a moral support. I'm here to keep things going here, but it's fun.
Something I don't know if you guys touched on when Dave was on last time, but Dave is a serial game buyer. So Dave brings a fat library to Dork Souls and always is like, I've dabbled in this. And like, he's had his fingers in a lot of games over the year. And he's ready to open the library and say, I think this would be fun to play. This would be fun to play. Yeah. And Dave always has a little bit of knowledge of a lot of different games and can generally point us in the right direction. And then, we take it as a group and run with it.
Yeah, Dave is like
Dork Souls weekend. We take it as a group.
Like we're all kind of drawn to certain character archetypes, and Steven loves playing like paladins. Like if there's a game and there's a version of it, he's gonna play paladin. Brandon is always dexterity, some version of a speed character. I'm a little bit all over, but I do lots of wizards for whatever reason, and I like a little bit of ranged attack. Dave, human fighter.
Regular dude.
What is the most middle of the road character there is that has the most flexibility? That's Dave every time.
Jack of all
Yeah.
trades. Yep.
My brother, I always troll him because his archetype is always the buttoned up.
Yeah.
He likes Leonardo. He likes Captain America and Superman. I'm like, dude, Cyclops. I'm like, Cyclops? Wolverine's here.
I'm a Donatello
I guess-
guy, just so we're clear.
Okay, thank you. As am I. Surprisingly, actually.
Donatello. We got 3 Donatellos.
Wow.
Brandon, who
Yeah.
are you?
Raphael, man. The
Wow.
sarcasm, the quips, the Rob Paulson quips, maybe?
I'm probably a Leonardo primary, which is that older brother
Yep.
quarterback, apparently.
I always get second choice.
Can you guys think of like a year that was like not just Dark Souls weekend? I'm talking about your childhood. Like this was the year, this is the time when like my favorite games were all coming out like right now. Like, do you guys have one?
It all was in that PS1 era for me with Castlevania Symphony of the Night, Final Fantasy VII. There was like a run of games on PS1 that honestly I think
Gran Turismo.
were like re-hooked me back into gaming. When you're at that age, like moving away from 16-bit era, wasn't necessarily as interested in gaming as I once was. And then I think when PS1 was launched, that was the turning point that like hooked me back in and never let go on. It was like Symphony of the Night and then Final Fantasy VII. And
I think that same like 2-year period, that was also when we were playing the Super Nintendo release of Final Fantasy III, which is a great game. I feel like that lull had that game in there. A couple of really good Super NES games were in that little lull.
Chrono Trigger, Secret of Mana, those three Squaresoft trilogy of games was cream of the crop in the RPG world. What would you say your first RPG? What got you into RPGs?
Major Mud.
Go on.
If you're not familiar with Major Mud, it is a text-based multiplayer dungeon scroller that was played locally. Again, text-based, no graphics. So you choose a race and a class. So my build was a goblin assassin, and one of his primary modes of battle was getting out of a room and then sneaking into it and backslashing what was ever in that room. It's basically everything we love about Elden Ring before video games really had the capacity to do something like that. This is actually during that same lull. So kind of between the 16-bit games and before this next generation PlayStation, my main gift for my birthday when I was in 8th grade was a 16K modem. You'd log into a local server where people were logged in. You had a system operator, you had a game operator, and basically, the bosses of the server. And you'd log into this game, and only like 5 or 6 people could be on it at the same time. So you log in and hoping you're, one of the 6 people playing. So Steve and I couldn't play at the same time. So again, watching someone else play a text-based game is a whole different level of like camaraderie. I had been going into some of the highest level local folks battles, and we'd go deep into these caves, and you had to have at least like 2 or 3 people all online going into this text-based cave. And I started playing with one of the game operator. Like he was the boss of the whole game.
Operator.
Yeah. And I had kind of known that I wasn't going to be playing this as much as I used to, but I had really built up a huge character. I'm about to say goodbye to this game. So I start going and doing these like super hard battles. This thing is supposed to have amazing drops. And right as we're getting towards the end of it, or I go out of the room like I always do, I come in, but rather than backslashing the boss, I backslash the guy. You can attack friendlies, and I do it once, maybe an accident, go out, come back in, I get him again, boom, 3 times, he's out. I pick up all of his super, super, super rare stuff. He's freaking out on the bulletin board. He's telling me to give it back, freaking out. And then I log off forever.
You're the OG Leroy Jenkins, man. You're the OG.
There's a warrant out for your arrest, man.
Steven's still playing. One of our other friends is still playing. And they're like, oh my gosh, Major Mud is on fire with what you just did. This is the talk of the town. The game operator is furious. It was like the perfect bow at the end of an 18-month quest of just pure bliss. So funny.
Weren't you that Nick guy's brother? I don't know what you're talking about, man.
Where'd you get those Dwarven work boots?
Yeah.
Decked out. Hey, how'd you get all that stuff? I don't know.
I'm really good.
Yeah, mind your business.
Yeah.
We just went radio silent forever. And
Major Mud, is that right?
yeah.
Major Mud.
Okay.
Mud is an
MUDD.
acronym for multi-user dungeon.
Yeah.
That's like the foundation of why the Dark Souls games are like, it's like the same thing. Super hard, build up your character, find rare loot, build it up, and continuing to push into this like incredibly difficult map. And
The Major Mud dream had finally been realized.
100%. I think that's a big reason why we were such proponents of pushing into Demon Souls, which is a brutal game, especially when you don't know. Now you've kind of got a rhythm when you started, and it's still super hard. But attacking that as a collaborative one-player game the first time that was released was magic. This is crazy fun and super hard. This feels just as punishing as some of the other games I really love.
Yeah. Our first system was the Sega Genesis. We got it when we moved into the new house. And that was kind of the, like, oh, because we're moving in this new house, there's a basement. So you guys can get a system, or we got it for Christmas. But the idea was like, it's tough for kids to move. I was in like 4th grade. The silver lining was that because we had moved to a house with a basement, now we could have, a system. And we didn't get games like hardly ever. And so to have games that were really difficult was something that we would like latch onto because we like play them.
You can draw it out.
We could draw it out for a long time, make it last. You can squeeze every last drop out of it was what kept us going. So, when Demon Souls came out, it was like, finally.
I remember when Demon Souls first came out, it was very polarizing to a lot of people because now, like you were saying, there's this legacy kind of skill set that you guys have acquired. And so now you know about the invulnerable frames and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Back then, it was so novel. People didn't know what to think about it. Like, this game sucks. It's too hard. It's just not good. It's poorly designed.
Yeah.
You read the item descriptions. What is it? Nothing means anything in this game, and it's like, I don't know. It's kind of like that. We would latch on to like any content we could get. We were ravenous for instruction booklets. We would be like, oh yes, like reading through a new instruction booklet was like such a treat because we came from not having it. So any exposure we got to it, we were like, yes, give me that instruction booklet. Whatever I can take from a game, we were all for it.
We would play games to the point where we would actually go into the settings menu, go into the FX sound, and we'd sit and listen to each of the sound effects, just like yeah. That's the sort of like, we're gonna get into this. Let's get our fingers into this. Yeah, and the availability of video games was kind of like super random for a while. Like arcades, we went to Aladdin's Castle, the Vancouver Mall. My mom wanted to go to the mall every week, so we could play a little bit of video games, and we got to watch a lot of video games. So you could go in there, and we would sit, and we'd be like, "Oh, well, I'll be back in an hour," and we would watch all the games go through all their screens with our like 2 coins to run through the arcade. And so you're just shopping for like, how are we going to do it? Are we going to play at the same time? That'll be cutting the amount of time we play in half, but we play together. Or maybe you play and we watch, and then I'll join in at your continue, and then I'll play. How do we maximize this dollar we have at the arcade?
Just 2 young boys in the mall arcade by themselves for an hour, just browsing.
And don't even get me started when my mom let us go to Sears and go play Metroid at the video game station. Like, oh man, it would only let you play for 4 minutes, and we played that first 4 minutes of Metroid so many times. We just sit and play the same, and then it would just time out and it would reset the console, and you're like, oh man.
It's funny because my first experience playing Super Metroid was also inside of the Sears like kiosk. Like, I don't know if it's at every Sears, but my Sears had the kiosk just there with like a clothing. They didn't have a designated gaming section, so they're just like, here, just put it next to the t-shirts.
I feel like ours was like right near like the jewelry section or cologne or something. It was just randomly there, like on a countertop, and we would map out our hits during the mall. So it's like, okay, we're gonna run into the arcade for a little bit while we're in this section of the mall, and then when we get to this section, we'll be able to go into Sears, and when we get to this section, we'll be able to go into KB Toys and look at this. Every outing that we could get a little hit of video game, we would be like obsessive over it. Like, oh, we're going out to pizza, and we're like, okay, so that means we're gonna be able to go play some games while we're waiting for the pizza.
We used to go to Aladdin's Castle. Again, we'd only have like our couple tokens. And when Street Fighter 2 first came out, it was before it was big, but immediately we were watching and it was like, this thing is amazing. And we would do the same sort of thing where basically this is how we'd play. So we'd play, one person would put in a quarter, they'd play as far as they could, and right before they were about to die, the second person would start up. Now you get to fight each other, but the rule was that the person that saved you had to win, because then they got to then go back to the game and keep playing. And so you could actually get 2 plays off of a quarter, and then you progress further, and then the other person could use their other one, same thing, and then they'd go. So we could get a number of different battles, just maximizing the length. And then after you spent this glorious, 12 minutes playing Street Fighter 2, the type of fan fiction that we would cook up while walking through Mervin's is just embarrassing. Like, we're talking about, the fireballs that Ryu and Ken do are cool, but can you imagine what Zangief's fireball looks like? It's probably huge. And we're talking about just fan fiction ideas of what could be happening and how, oh man.
What's this game going to be like when we finally figure out what Zangief's fireball is. Have a very vivid memory of that discussion where it's like, oh yeah, I bet it has like a huge rock or something, and he like smashes you. The possibility of this game was just like blowing our minds watching someone playing, and then like they'd get done and you're like, how do you do a fireball? And like you're trying to build your toolkit before you commit your quarter.
And back then too, the line of your imagination and reality gets so blurred. It might turn into, I saw Zangief throw a fireball.
Oh yeah.
And it was a rock. I'm just gonna touch on that Street Fighter Savior thing because it's such a part of my growing up that I had forgotten about until you mentioned it. Oh my gosh, we all did that. I like, okay, I had my brother right there on deck. I'm gonna fight this character, and if it's round 3 and I'm about to die, get ready, man. Like,
you gotta have
like,
your quarter in, you gotta be ready. There was some fucking tense moments where it's like, do I save you right now or do I not? If I save you too soon, there's gonna be a little bit of tension here. If I miss saving you, there's gonna be a big problem.
I was about to beat him, dude. What the fuck?
I don't know if you were, man. I had to jump in.
Yeah, I had to make the call. I had to make the call.
That is a line that has absolutely been said. I had to jump in.
Oh,
The stakes are too high to let this turn just die. I had to jump
Right.
in.
I mean, I feel like we were all very good natured about that type of stuff because we realized what was at stake. So we never got in like fights over it to be like, oh yeah, okay, yeah, good.
The opposite of the savior, when you're playing your round, your brother's there hovering to be the savior, but then like some random stranger's like, hey, you gonna play next? Now you gotta fight a real person. No, it wasn't supposed to be like this.
Yeah, for real. Like the stress of someone joining in when you're like playing one player and they like come in to like fight you and be like, oh my god,
This guy knows flash kicks.
it's like, read the room. You're not welcome here.
Electrocute him.
Button mashing for your life in your quarter.
Just sweating.
Yeah.
Steven and I were big on like playing everything. This game called The Adventures of Fantastic Dizzy, and you're like this little egg. It was super weird game on Genesis, and that's our weekend. Let's figure this thing out, and just playing hours and hours and hours of this obscure kind of weird game, and you're like, man, we really enjoyed that. Like, we should probably rent that again.
Yeah.
You're like, oh man, just wringing every bit of value out of these games. And the difference between like some of these ones that have like bigger brand recognition were always the bigger disappointments. Like going down a rabbit hole of some weird game had far more fruit than a lot of the stuff that was mainstream that felt a little bit over marketed or something. It's like, this is marketing flash and this is a cool puzzle game. I think that's why we also like get drawn to games that have a lot more nuance and difficulty, because I think that that's usually a sign of just more development that's happened. Don't get me wrong, we loved some like side-scrolling beat 'em ups, but as we got older, like searching for those little puzzle games was a big part of a lot of the fun.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, go back to those beat 'em ups. Those were like the bread and butter. Like we would clock in at my grandma's house. Let's go through. We'll beat Contra, and then we're gonna move on to this. And those beat 'em up games and those side-scrolling cooperative games were like a huge sweet spot.
We probably beat Streets of Rage 2 dozens of times with all the different characters, different combinations of characters.
Yeah,
Golden Axe 2, Golden Axe 3,
Yeah.
beating those things lots of times.
It's weird to think that we probably, Dave, your brother Jimmy, we
Yeah.
probably crossed paths at
I
some
know.
point.
There were probably times where all
We were probably at Aladdin's Castle. We were probably at
Yeah.
Wonderland at some point
Yeah.
together before we knew each other.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
catch me in the free play.
That was my little brother who literally couldn't care less about how much coins he wasted. He would put it in. He didn't like the game. He would walk away. Dude, you
Oh
gotta
my
play,
God.
play a coin out, Ryan. What are you doing?
Blasphemy, dude. I can't do that in 2025, man.
Yeah.
Like,
He
my
would-
wife will be like, it's time to go. I'm like, wait.
That's unheard of. That's the kind of person I would follow around the arcade to siphon off that little bit of extra gameplay from it. Oh man, this guy left it, Nick. Come over here.
I was just gonna say, like, I wouldn't even walk away from a session that was free to me because someone else walked away.
Time Traveler was one of those games at the arcade that would always get 1 or 2 nickels from me. Like I wanted to like it so bad. I always left thinking like, ah man, that game sucked.
There are some games that just are fascinating, I think, is
Yeah.
why. It draws you in for some reason. Like, I'm gonna put a quarter in Time Traveler. I'm gonna rent Bubsy.
Yeah.
I don't like I don't know why. I know it sucks. I know I wasn't
We're
good the
gonna
last
beat
time.
Bubsy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
100% we beat Bubsy.
100%. We loved those side scrollers. Like anything that was like having tight controls, we love that. Like Ghouls and Ghosts series is one of my favorite side scrollers ever. But
To clarify, before we talk about Ghouls and Ghosts, are you saying Bubsy has tight and fair controls?
No, a game that was difficult, had good controls. In that same vein, I don't know if you guys ever played Arrow the Acrobat.
boom.
Oh, yeah,
That's
Arrow the Acrobat. I was gonna mention Arrow the Acrobat soon, dude. That game was one of those that I have to rent it.
Arrow the Acrobat was such a tight little game. You can go back and play that. That is a fantastic playthrough. That Rystar was fun.
Rystar, yeah.
Yes. Rocket Knight?
Yeah, yeah.
That is a classic. Rocket Knight that's probably top 5.
Such a good game.
Yeah.
Needs more flowers. That game is so good.
I mean, the graphics on Rocket Knight, it was towards the end of the life cycle of that Genesis, but
Yeah.
I remember putting in Rocket Knight and just being like, oh my God, this looks so good. It plays so well. It's so
Yeah.
fun. Peak Genesis.
I was already sold on the box art, like a cool little armadillo with a blue.
Yeah.
He's like got his little smirk holding his sword. I'm
Yeah.
like, this guy is the best.
I think he's a possum. I think he hangs.
Possum.
hangs
Yes,
upside
yes,
down.
yes.
I want to touch on that Golden Axe play real quick because one of the things that occurred during that time was my dad's friend's name was Mike Starr, and he'd bring over his Genesis, and we get to play it for like the whole evening, and it was just magic because we had video games at our house and unlimited play, totally magical. So we got a Genesis when I was in 6th grade. The following year, in 7th grade, you have a go to work with your dad or parent day. And so I went to work and Mike Starr was there. And Mike Starr, he knew that we had gotten a Genesis. And when I was there for go to work with your dad day, he gifted me for no reason. It wasn't my birthday or anything. He gifted me 2 6-button Sega Genesis controllers. They're smaller. They got the 6 buttons, amazing for fighting games. And that was such an impactful like gift. I look back on what it took to make me so excited and happy. And so I think about it, it's like when I was in 7th grade, my dad's friend gave me these things, and it was the most impactful, amazing little gift that didn't take much from him. And so when I look at my friends' kids and stuff, it's fun to kind of think about like if I can see a little wrinkle of need or want that I can easily fulfill, you can maybe replicate that sort of magic with someone just having a little bit of insight of like this is something that they really like and maybe don't have.
Is that what the WWMSD tattoo on your arm stands for?
What would Mike Starr do? Exactly. What would Mike Starr do about in this scenario?
Mike Starr sounds like a Sega Genesis game I would have rented when I was a kid.
Well, I mean, I'll tell you, we're not talking about anyone of my other dad's friends. You know, Mike Starr solidified himself in the pantheon of adults early on with coming in clutch with the Sega Genesis. He lent it to us one time in his entire library before we had our own. Maybe it was right after we got our Sega Genesis. He lent us his whole library of games. I mean, Mike Starr, if you're listening, you really did the Frank brothers a solid.
We love you, Mike Starr. I definitely aspire to bring some Mike Starr magic into my kids and my kids' friends and nephews' lives for sure. Yes, I want the cool new game for myself, but I'm always so pumped to like share it with my nephews. And any kid who wants to come over and have a play date with my kids, I'm like, bring them over.
Yeah. His game taste became our game taste. And, you know, in that same vein, when I think about if one of my friends' kids has a game system and I want to get them a game, I like to think about how can I influence this kid's journey? You know, I want them to play the good ones, you know.
Try as you may, man. They just go on their own path too. I remember when Disney Plus first came out. Oh my gosh, we have such a wide breadth of content that I can share with you from Disney classics like Aladdin to The Simpsons, blah blah blah. They'll just find Pocahontas too. They'll just find the straight to VHS releases, and those will be their favorites. You do your best. You do your best, but you know.
Ray, I mean, what you've experienced right now, this microcosm of this podcast, this is what Dork Souls Weekend is. It's just reliving these memories. We've done this for 11 years. I just learned some new stories I haven't heard yet.
Yeah, it's almost like I should be there and be invited. Whatever, but whatever.
There's a magic in simplicity. How do you maximize ease? And we found that 4 is the magic number. Easy to get in a cab, easy to drive someplace, easy to coordinate. It's already super hard to coordinate, like, hey, which weekend's going to work?
Stop pushing the knife further. Nick. I mean, honestly, I think I will set forth on my path and maybe create my own little Dork Souls. At the same time, super grateful to have been let in, even if it was just for an hour or two. Chat with you guys a little bit. I know you guys got some games to get to, some snacks to go through. I hope you guys continue to have a good time. I think before we go, we should do Guess That Song, play a quick speed round, and we all throw a song out there, and then we say our goodbyes.
You have one, right, Nick?
No.
I'm ready. Yes.
Do we got any answers?
Oh man.
Ghouls and Ghosts.
100%.
Yeah.
That alone is just
Yeah,
so good.
That's it. Yeah.
All right, this one has lyrics. The initial lyric is the giveaway, so I won't say the initial lyric. I'm gonna bring you in from after that part. So it's bum 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 ba dun da dun da dun da dun da dun ba dum bum ba dun 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 da dun 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 da dun dun. Yeah, whoa whoa, yeah. Whoa whoa. That's all what I got for you.
Wow, I don't know it.
I don't know if I can place it either. Can you do it again?
I'll do it again with the intro so you guys know what song it is. It's Cruising, yeah. Cruising USA. Yeah.
Oh, that's great.
I got an orchestral one.
Uncharted.
Yeah.
Yeah. Beautiful. Great game.
I know you'll get this one. Any other fans of this game will get it. I'm just gonna say the lyrics, and you'll know it right away. I'm gonna take you for a ride.
Marvel versus Capcom 2. New Age of Heroes.
But that was the quickest guess I've ever.
If you know, you know.
If you know, you know. Ah, so good. Yeah, show him your shirt, by the way.
In
Danny,
my
you got one?
opinion, the best representation of Juggernaut, the sprite, is
It's like the X-Men animated series, and then take it up a notch, like or a
Exactly.
couple of notches.
100% agree.
they finally got him right.
Yeah.
Everything I
Yeah.
wanted in my mind, and here it is.
All right, gang. Unless you guys got any final thoughts, I think now's a good time to say our goodbyes.
Love the content, love the podcast. Anytime you want to pick my brain further.
I imagine that you guys will make returns at some point, or annually at least.
Hell yeah.
Get back to your games, get back to your food and drinks. And sorry, Nick, you had something to say? Oh, is that
Final Fantasy Prelude.
Oh, the intro. I don't even dare try that one because it's such a tough one to like
I wouldn't say
mimic
I
with your
pulled it off,
mouth.
but
Dun, 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 dun. Yeah, that's a beautiful one. But I mean, we can do this all day. If you let me, I will. So I'm gonna let you guys get to it. Hey everybody, it's Ray here. Just wanted to thank you for tuning into the Dire Pass Level podcast. If you want to hang out and join us for the next episode, make sure to like and subscribe. That way you're notified when our next episode releases. If you really liked it, you'd do us a solid if you left us a review. Reviews are a great way to spread the word about our podcast, and the more gamers to share these stories with, the better. All right, we'll see you next week. Have a good one. There we go.